Very cool. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Geeks on Tour. What does this button do? We're on episode 14, an educational show about smartphones and tablets with the Geeks on Tour. Become a member at www.geeksontour.com. Let's see if that works.
What does this button do?
What does this button do? All right. Well, hi, I'm Jim, and together with my wife, Chris, we're Geeks on Tour. Do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? Do you have questions about your Android or iPad tablet? How do you learn about these amazing devices? We're geeks who teach. We're into lifelong learning and helping others learn technology along the way. On our website, geeksontour.com, you can find several hundred tutorial videos on all the topics we teach. Check it out. Today, we're happy to have a special guest with us, Robin Seaver from the Sun City Hilton Head Computer Club near Savannah, Georgia. Welcome, Robin.
Thanks, Jim. Hi, everybody.
Okay.
So, what's going on around here? And where are we?
Yeah, where are we? I took a picture this morning so you could show people, because this park is just so unique. It used to be a date farm, so those are all date palms that were parked in the middle of, and it's in it's called Thousand Trails Palm Springs, but the town we're in is actually Palm Desert, California.
Yeah, we've been in visit mode this week, and one of the best things about our lifestyle and full-timing RVing is the opportunity to reconnect with old friends. It's really a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was out in California. You saw, what, 3 old high school friends, and I saw all 3 of my best California friends. Whew.
So the way we do this show is we start off with a beginner's lesson. Chris will do something that we feel is important for beginners to know about their iPhones, their Android phones. We'll start with the iPad and we'll Android in the segment, and then we'll do an app of the week. This week, Robin is going to do the app of the week. That should be a lot of fun. And then we'll take your questions. So please post your questions as comments below, and I'll try and get to them, and we'll try and answer them in the live show. There should be a comment area below the event on Google+, the Hangouts page, and on the YouTube page. We'll also record the show, and it'll be available for viewing later on YouTube, and all of the reruns are there, so check it out. Chris.
Okay, ready for our beginner's lesson, huh?
Yep.
And there. Well, we're going to talk about updates. If you have an Apple device, you've been hearing a lot of news about the latest Apple update to iOS 8 on your iPhones and iPads. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later with Robin. But I decided then to make updates in general be our beginner's lesson. I really didn't want to. I hate updates. It seems like just when I finally get myself around to sitting down and doing some work, I pull up the app and it says, you need to do an update. Why do I have to do updates, Jim?
Well, you need to do updates for a bunch of different reasons. Basically, I say there's 2 main reasons. All updates are to fix bugs and to give you added functionality. So those are the 2 things that I think are the most important when it comes to updates.
And they do seem to be getting more and more important. So I'm going to try to be kind of quick about this so that we can have conversation after. I'm just going to go to the iPad, show you how to do updates, and go to the Android and show you how to do updates there.
Okay, cool.
Here is the iPad. And first you need to know that there are 2 kinds of updates. There's the system updates, and there's app updates. So first I'll show you what we're talking about with the system updates. Now, system updates get pushed out to you by Apple. And trying to get this in focus.
It's getting better.
It was doing so good. Just, okay. There we go.
Yeah, good.
All right. So you might just get a pop-up message that says you have an update, but then you can say, okay, I want to do it now, or no, I don't. System updates, we're talking about going into settings, and then you might first want to know, well, what system number am I on right now? That is under General and then About. So if you go into About, you will see that I am on version 8.0.2. So I have done all of my updates up to last night. I think that's when I did that, was last night. But if you want to know, okay, so that's the system I'm on, are there any system updates available? You tap on Software Update, and it's checking. And it should tell me that, no, I am up to date. If you're not, you will see, and I have a screenshot of that, you will see a message saying iOS 8 is ready to go. And you just follow the prompts. So let me just get, or if you want to show, no, let me do it. Yeah, Jim, you have the slideshow up, right?
No, but I can.
No? Oh, okay. Yeah. Switch back over and show the slideshow, because I took screenshots of when I did do the 8 update. And the issues here are that it's a huge file. So you want to make sure you have enough space. The screenshot I had there showed that it was a 925 megabyte file. That's almost a gigabyte. You also have to be attached to Wi-Fi to do it. So you just follow the prompts, and you will end up with a notice saying that it has been installed. So 3 things to check first before you do the update. Do you have enough space in your device? And you can check that on Settings, General, and Usage. Do you have free Wi-Fi to use? You don't want to be paying for a gigabyte of your bandwidth. And then last but not least, is all your stuff backed up? Now, you can just go to Settings, iCloud, and do a complete backup, but I don't worry about it because I know all my pictures are backed up to Dropbox. All my emails are already on Gmail. Everything that I use my iPad for is already cloud-based, so I don't worry about that too much. But if you have a problem with the update, it's possible. We have heard people updating to the 8.0.2 did fail and lost some pictures. So you want to check that you have everything backed up. All right, next slide, Jim, and then I'll go back to screen share.
Sure.
There. Lost it. Okay.
There we go.
All right. So you follow the prompts, and you make sure you have enough. And you do have to know your Apple ID password there. That's part of what it asks before you can do the update. All right, now back to me, and I'll show one other little thing just specific to this iOS 8 update. If you do synchronize with a Mac, you want to say no to the new iCloud Drive. I didn't. I let it say okay. And here I have iCloud Drive. This is live on my iPad, and it's still saying upgrading, even though I did this like 3 days ago. So I think it's going to say that until the day when you get the new system on the iMac, and then it can synchronize, and then my iCloud Drive will be ready. It would have been better if I had just said no when asked, do I want to upgrade to iCloud Drive now?
Move it up a little bit so we can see the whole screen.
Okay.
There you go.
There we go. Okay, so that's system updates, and we'll talk afterwards about when you should do these. But the other thing is application updates. So how do you do those? Those aren't in your main system settings. They are in your App Store. And notice the little 1 that is on the corner of my App Store. That means that I have one app ready to be updated. And I tap on there, and it's when you first open the App Store, it shows you all the different apps that you can get. And you say, well, that's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in whatever apps need updating. So down at the bottom here, you have these different options. If I tap on updates, it will tell me not only which one needs an update, but all the ones that have recently been updated and why. So that's kind of cool. That's new with the 8. Now you might say that, well, geez, these things get updated so much all the time. I just want it to do it automatically. You can do that, and that is in the settings. But before I leave this screen, notice that there is an update all up at the top. So I tend to leave mine not updating automatically, because whenever I feel like it, I can go in here and I can just update all, and it's not that big a bother. But if you want them to update automatically, that's in your settings, and the settings for iTunes and App Store, and updates. So notice that I have my automatic download for updates, I have mine off. And realize this only refers to app. You don't have this choice when it comes to your main update, your system update. Apple pushes that to you, to everybody all at once. So that's why it just hits the news. I think I'm done with Apple. Anything just to add at the basic how-to, Robin?
No, I think you've done a really good job. I'll make a couple of comments.
Yeah, we'll talk about specifically the iOS. Well,
You want to do it now?
Sure, let's do it now.
Okay.
The iOS 8, what specific issues?
Actually, I think you covered most of them. Our club, in fact, has 8 iPad 2s and an iPad mini Retina, and the updates went just fine. On a personal basis, I have an iPhone 5 with 16 gigabytes of memory. I really had to I had to offload all my pictures, and several of the bigger apps just to make room for the update. Apple leads you through the process, and it's very easy, as you mentioned, to get those other apps back either from your backup or from the Apple Store once the update is finished. If people are used to backing up through iTunes, that's another option for doing the update. But most of us today never plug our iPads or our iPhones into a traditional computer.
Right, that's an interesting point. I mean, I started with iPad long after the App Store was released, so I've never plugged, it used to be that iPhones and iPads were just appendages to the computer, disconnectable appendages, but
Right.
but that's what they did. They were meant to connect to the computer and did all their updating that way, and I've never done it that way. So what we're talking about is just doing it via the App Store.
Right.
Okay.
That's- It takes a while. People keep in mind that it can take 2 or 3 hours.
Using App Store or computer or both?
Over the air.
Over the
The
air.
App Store.
That's using the App Store, yeah. Gee, I didn't think it took me that long.
that-
But then again, I may have just been watching TV while it was going.
Well, And you have a newer device than our iPad 2s.
Yeah. And you didn't. Now, some
So
people have reported that they had issues with the iPad 2s, that it hung up afterwards, and the news has been reporting that the 8.0 release made some of them lose their Wi-Fi ability, and so they wanted to be able to roll back to 7, but that's why Apple has come out with the 8.0.1 and then the 8.0.2. So I recommend that people wait a little bit, let the dust settle a little bit. Okay, so now let me go to Android. Okay. On your Android phones and tablets, you need to do your updates, and there are two different kinds. There are system updates and there are app updates. So the system updates will get pushed to you from your cellular provider. So like Verizon or AT&T choose the timing. So it's a little bit more fragmented than on the Apple side. And you will see a notice pop up, and you can say, yes, I want to do it now, or no, I don't. But if you choose to take your time to do it, the way you get to it is you need to know how to get to your settings. So there's the settings, and they're in groups. So this is in the system group. It's down at the bottom. And if you want to know what system level your phone is on right now, you tap on About Phone or About Tablet if you're on a tablet. And you can see that I have done my latest updates because I am on Android version 4.4.4. But if you want to see if there are any system updates that need to be done, there it is at the very bottom of the list, System Update. It tells me what update was the most recently done, and you can check for new system updates if you want to see if there are any. And mine should tell me that I'm all up to date. And that is what you want to be. It's painful to have to go through all this, but it is important.
And on my Samsung Galaxy Note 3, I'm still on Android version 4.4.2.
Okay, so you haven't gotten so they roll out the updates based on your cellular provider and your specific phone.
Right, exactly. So that's important to know.
Yeah. And you don't have to do them right away, but you do have to do them. All right, so that's system updates. Now on Android, you also need to update your apps. To do that, you need to go to your Play Store. So I go to my All Apps, and they're in alphabetical order. There's my Play Store. And you'll probably normally see this page. This is the Play Store home screen. To get to your apps and see which ones need to be updated, you need to tap on the menu. Menu is the little three lines up in the upper left-hand corner. So tap there, and then you go to My Apps. And it doesn't have a specific category of apps that need to be updated. It just puts all the ones that do need to be updated at the top of the list. So okay, I haven't done my updates recently in this one, have I? That's because I also have the automatic turned off. Okay, here's one that I recently updated. And then here's all my list of the ones that are up to date. Now, I can, and this is what I normally do, just say, okay, I'm in the mood for doing updates now, so I'll just go in here and I'll tap on Update All. Unless sometimes there is an app that you know is a problem and you don't want to update it. Therefore, you want to update them each individually. But how would you turn on automatic updates if you want? That is on the settings. So I tapped on Menu in the Play Store and then Settings, and right here, Auto Update Apps. I tap there and there's 3 choices. You can don't auto update, which as I note, as you can tell, is what I have, or you can auto update but do it at any time, meaning it will use your cellular connection and there might be fees for that, or you can auto update over Wi-Fi only. So those are your 3 choices. But even if you say auto update, no, even if you say do not auto update like I've had, let's say there are some that I know are really important. If I tap on Evernote, for example, I say I want that one to update automatically. There's a little menu, the 3 dots at the top of just the Evernote app, and I can tell this app to auto update even though all my others will not auto update.
Now, I don't have those 3 dots on my device. Mine, I have a menu at the bottom of my screen on the Note 3. So just know that it may not be always in that same place. You might have to look around for your menus.
Yeah, they keep moving it. They keep moving it and changing it, and every device is slightly different. So you do have to spend time. These things do take time.
Huh.
But that's it. System updates, app updates. System updates are in your system menu, and app updates are in your Play Store.
Well, cool.
All right. So let's see. Did we think of anything else that should be mentioned on? Are you strictly an iOS person, Robin, or do you also
No.
have Android?
I have a Nexus 7 tablet and I have a Nexus 5 phone.
Uh-huh. Yep. You have one of everything, huh?
I swing both ways.
I think that's and you teach lots of other people at your computer club, right?
We do. That's my excuse for
For having same here. In fact, we are thinking about getting an iPhone 6. What's the Plus, the big one, just because we need to have it. And now that you can have the swipe keyboard.
Yep.
Did you get one? You have a?
No, it's on order.
Okay.
End of October.
Okay, we have a question there, Jim?
Yeah, well, Connie says, and there's something wrong with my
display
comment tracker because it still has me on there, but I recently updated iOS 8 on my iPad. Now I have an additional screen where I have to enter a passcode, which I didn't have before updating iOS 8. Is there any way I can get rid of that page? It's kind of a pain.
Mm-hmm.
Also, my iPad, which is an iPad 2, seems to be slower now that I've updated. And what are your thoughts on that?
Do you have an answer, Robin?
I can't tell. I don't see any sluggishness on the iPad 2s that we use for class, though they probably don't have some of the applications that I think it was Connie is running. I would just carefully go through everything that's on that device and see what, in fact, could be disposed of, at least temporarily, to see if she can figure out where the sludge is. It's pretty iPad 2s are 3 years old. It's pretty amazing that they got this update at all. So
yeah, I was kind of surprised. I told people if I had an iPad 2, I'm not so sure I would do this update.
And unless you're ready to buy a new iPad, though, and you don't want to do that until at least next month, right? No, in my experience, they run pretty well. If you have the iPhone 4S, however, which is the lowest level phone that you can update, it'll take the update, but everyone I know who's done that is ordering a new phone.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, old hardware is not meant to run new software. That's always That's always been an issue. As far as the passcode, it does look to me like they've taken away the no passcode required.
No, well, when you're doing the update, when you're going through the install process, the screen comes up asking you to enter a passcode,
Right.
and then in little bitty letters, little bitty blue letters, it says you can skip this process. But they're encouraging you to do it. And apparently Tim Cook came out last week and said if you have a passcode enabled on your iDevice with iOS 8, everything is encrypted automatically.
Wow.
And even Apple cannot get into your device without your knowing your passcode, if that's the case. They want to encourage that. But you can go into your settings and turn the passcode off.
Yeah, let me show where that is. So I'm going to screen share again. And it's in settings, there is now a setting called passcode.
Correct.
And there is the ability to turn your passcode off. We do not recommend that, however. You know, these things have a lot of your personal information on them. You don't want just anybody to be able to pick them up. Now, what I do recommend, though, is to only require, you can tell it, only require a passcode once every 4 hours. So if you're using it and it's going off and on, you don't have to do a passcode every time. And
I think that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, we covered that in one of our earlier episodes, but it bears repeating. Okay. Ready for any other questions, Tim?
I don't see any there, so I think we can go on. Robin's experience, and we've already talked about that for a bit. Can the iPad 2 update okay? And I think we just covered that. And what about the iPhone 4? I think you have to have an earlier version. I mean, it doesn't work with earlier versions. You have to have something that Siri works on. Does that sound right?
That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. But
well, it just said that
iPhone 4 will not take it. The 4S will take it, but not recommended.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So how about a favorite app? I think you like Google Search on iOS, huh?
I like Google everything.
That's why we like her.
Particularly on older devices. And again, I mentioned we have 8 iPad 2s. The Google Search app, which came out, I want to say, a year and a half ago, has absolutely energized those devices. They have no Siri, so no voice recognition or search. Chris, I think you have the Google Search app on your device.
Yes.
Could you show that to us?
Yes.
Okay.
So what we're talking about is just the blue Google icon, which is, it's actually an app. You know, it's not going to a browser. It is an app, and it is Google Search. And you just tap on it, and it brings up Google Search, including
a microphone.
It wants to know your location. I always say, okay, I like my device knowing where I am. And yeah, that is such a great thought, Robin. We just spent some time with a friend of mine who has an iPhone 4, and she lamented the fact that she can't talk to it and ask it things. Yes, she can. I didn't even think of this.
Yes, she can.
Yes, she can.
It's
all right.
It's awesome. You want to try out that search?
Sure.
You want to check the weather?
And first I'll try it by tapping the, or do you mean just showing my card?
No, the microphone is great.
What's the weather going to be today?
It always works this way, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, notice I'm on AT&T, LTE with 2 bars. Voice search is temporary unavailable. Let's try again later. Well, let me try connecting to Wi-Fi and see if that helps. So I'll put Wi-Fi on, and I'll connect to my Android phone on Verizon.
If that's any faster.
is this just a little dig. And go back to Google search, and we'll try it again. What'll the weather be like today?
Today's forecast for Palm Desert is 88 degrees and clear.
Ooh, sunshine. And look at that sunshine for the rest of the week.
Yeah, well, they don't call it a desert for nothing.
That's true.
We had a sandstorm yesterday. Wow.
Ooh.
Somebody needs to come over and clean up all the dust in this place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, what else can we search for?
How about, how old is Robert Redford?
Like that one.
Redford is 77 years old.
And, okay, Google. Might not have heard mine.
Didn't hear you.
No, but you.
Oh, that's because you're in my headphones now. I had you on speaker before.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, the point is we can do, okay, Google, is he single?
Not going to talk to us this time.
Yeah, not going to talk to us.
The real point here, though it wasn't obvious, is with this Google search, you can in fact do conversational kinds of discussions. Who's the President of the United States? You get an answer to that. Who's his wife? How tall is he? Without having to rename the subject on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Really quite interesting. Now, this only works for people probably who are in Wikipedia, but it's the direction the search is going in, and it's quite exciting. The other thing about this, on your screen, Chris, at the bottom, you have some little cards.
Yeah.
If you swipe...
Yeah, I just kind of touched and moved up a little bit.
As long as you're signed in to Google, Google knows what's in your email. Google knows where you are. Google knows if you've searched for sports teams. It knows if you have boarding passes in your email. It's starting to get very useful. It's trying to do predictive search, telling you things that are not true.
We got to shut this thing down so I can watch that game.
Are they really? No, but have you noticed, though, they win when we're not watching, and they lose when we are watching, so maybe we better leave them alone. And he mentions if you are logged in. So how do you know you're logged in? On this screen...
On that screen, you have a little picture up there.
Yeah.
From here looks like you, so you are logged in.
Yeah, that is my little picture.
If
it wasn't there, I could log out or log in.
You would have a sign in there. One other thing, if we could search for what apps does Google have for iOS?
Oh yeah. Okay, Google. What apps does Google have for iOS?
Move it up a little, Chris.
Come on.
There you go.
Get in focus.
The entry at the bottom of that, I think there's an ad, and the entry at the bottom of that, if you could just tap it. I think it says Google Mobile Apps.
Okay. Just still trying to get in focus so everybody can see it. There we go.
Okay. Sit still, it'll get in focus.
So Google Apps for iOS?
Mm-hmm. Please. Google would like you to use an Android device. You want to scroll up a little there if you could, please. Google would be delighted to have you use an Android device. They're perfectly happy to have you use their Google services, all their Google services on an iOS device also. It's really quite awesome. You have Apple Maps. Why wouldn't you have Google Maps too? Hangouts, which is how we're doing this broadcast. You have that app right there. If you scroll down a little further, you'll see just about everything Googly available to you. Google Drive, Google Chrome, books, play music. It's awesome.
Wow. Good to know, Robin. Thanks.
That's
So
great.
I snuck in more than one app.
Like a whole suite of apps here.
You bet. Hey, as long as you have a Google account, there's something that they're offering that's useful to everybody. So
Well, I'm glad to know somebody else. Sometimes I feel like people must believe that we're paid by Google. We say so much about them. But what did we figure out, Jim? Yeah, we're paid by Google. They pay us every bit as much as you pay them for Picasa, say.
So we get really well paid.
Absolutely zero, yeah.
one comment about being on the internet, if I could, as long as you're online, you have to trust your stuff with some company, whether it's Microsoft or Apple or Amazon, or it makes no difference. If you're going to store your stuff in the cloud anyplace, you have to trust some company. And yes, I know Google reads my mail to send me ads and that kind of thing. I have been on Gmail since 2004, 2 weeks after it became available. I can honestly say I have never once felt that they have abused my privacy. And no, I have no Google stock, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, right.
No,
Same
they don't.
here.
As close as I am to it, I do have a nephew who works at Google. That's as close as I've come to any relationship.
Is he rich?
Richer than he was 2 years ago. He worked for Boston Dynamics, the robotics company that
cool.
Google recently bought. So, yeah.
Yep, it's an interesting world we live in.
Isn't it?
Another question.
It is.
I see
I love
another
it.
question here. How should I handle all these iCloud or these cloud offers from Apple, Microsoft, Google, etc.? And should I pick one and which one and discard the rest?
Yeah, I think that's kind of what Robin's just talking about. If you're going to be online, you need to trust some company, and we use them all. We do not recommend that. I wrote a response on screen on that one. We do not recommend that. We feel like we need to because we need to know it. We need to, and they all have their pros and cons. The Microsoft OneDrive, the Dropbox, we couldn't survive without Dropbox anymore. The Apple iCloud, I think, is about to get a lot better. And what else is Google Drive? Oh, awesome. So we love them all, but I do think it's best for people if they stick with one because there's a lot to learn. You don't want to have to learn them all, and believe me, you get confused.
Not you.
Right. Okay.
So, ready for review questions?
I think so. Let me see if I can find them. Well,
They're there.
Are they there?
Yep. I did write them, so I don't know.
Let me find them for you.
18 or something. Well, I can tell you what the first one is. What are the 2 types of updates that you must do if you have smartphones or tablets? And the answer is, go ahead, Robin.
System updates and application updates.
And app updates, yes. Very, very, very different issues. The system affects how your entire device works, and the app updates are just for the individual apps.
Right.
Okay, there we go. On Apple devices, where will you find the options to make app updates automatic?
You want to do that one too, Robin, or
in your settings and the iTunes Store.
Right.
The App Store.
iTunes and App Store settings and automatic download for updates.
And I think you said you do not do the automatic updates. I do.
You do, yeah. I don't see any reason really why not. It's just kind of my way. I like to see when things are happening, so I tend to not.
Well, another point is if you're on a metered connection, you might have limited bandwidth and you might not always want to do those updates. That's just a thought.
Right. Well, there is an option to say only do them on Wi-Fi, but us in the RVing community, our Wi-Fi comes from our cell phones too. So that's what's a little bit different. You know, it's not just being on Wi-Fi; it's being on free Wi-Fi.
Right.
On Android, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I do mine in Wi-Fi only.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. On Android devices, where do you go to update your apps?
That's the Play Store. And then tap on the menu and look at your apps. The ones that need updating will be on top.
Okay. And what app allows you to have voice search on an older Apple device that does not have Siri?
And that's yours, Robin.
That is Google Search.
Yay.
Yay.
Such a great idea.
Put it on. Why would you not have it on any of your iOS devices, though?
That's right. And when should you do your system updates?
Now that we didn't talk about a whole lot, but just you do need to do them, but you don't need to be the first person on the block to do them.
Right.
You know, let the dust settle. Read a couple of the articles. I mean, if you had not done the original Apple iOS 8, then you would now be doing the 8.0.2. And, you know, I think that is the better idea. Kind of like I would never buy a brand new RV. I want a used one, the ones that has the bugs worked out. Kind of the same concept with your updates. I want other people to do it before I do it.
Okay. Now, these weekly shows are free, but what benefits would I get by joining Geeks on Tour?
Okay, I want to take that one. I want to share my screen and take you to our website. All right. So you're seeing our website now?
Nope.
Not
No?
yet.
Oh, oops.
Click again.
Oh, right. I always forget that second click. All right. Now you're seeing our website.
Well, soon. There it is.
There it is.
Okay.
Whoops.
And, well, on our website, geeksontour.com, we have tutorial video. We have over 300 tutorial videos, which you need to be a member in order to watch them all. We also have a Q&A forum where you can ask us any question. And what do we say, Jim?
We promise to respond. We do not promise to actually answer your question, but we do promise to respond.
We don't always know.
If it's something that we teach, obviously we're going to answer it. And yeah, we don't always know. We're still learning this stuff too.
But we do a lot of research. In fact, sometimes I feel like I'm just people's Googlers. Let me Google that for you.
Mm-hmm.
But we find the answers. Okay, so if on our website you click on Weekly Show, it gives you all of our past shows here, back to episode number 1 and 2 and 3, and there's a brief description of what was covered in each show. Now, the difference is anybody can watch it for free on YouTube. You know, we are making these free and we're leaving them free. But if you are a member, you can get show notes along with them. And I think these notes are really valuable. So instead of having to watch, and you do have to be a member for this, instead of having to watch the whole show, you can go to the show notes and click on, gotta think while I'm typing my password. I know, you don't think I think at all when I open my mouth, huh, Jim?
I wasn't going to say anything, no.
Beat you to it. Okay, so being a member, you come to episode 13, for example. You can watch the whole video, but you can also look at the show notes and say, well, I'm only interested in note-taking on Android. You click on that link, it'll take you to the video right at that point. Or you can read the little notes and maybe you don't even have to watch it. And anytime we mention a app of the week, we put a link to the exact app in the show notes. So that's my sales pitch. If you do want to become a member, you click right there for become a member, and you can choose between, you can choose one of the options.
Okay.
Can I add one comment?
Sure.
Even if people aren't sure that they want to become a member quite yet, please, if you haven't done it, sign up for the newsletter.
For the newsletter, thank you, yes.
Which I look forward to absolutely every week.
Yeah, now we
And
have
it's
to
always
make one
something
for this month.
Yeah, and that's my job for the next couple of days, isn't it? Okay, thanks. Yes, we've had a free newsletter since the beginning, 2008, I think.
Okay. Beginners, next week we'll have a beginner's lesson. Do you know what that's going to be, Chris?
Yes, I want to do something fun and simple this time rather than updates. I want to show how you can see photos that you've taken on a map. So this is something really great for travelers. You can look at your photos. They'll be placed on top of a map so that you can see where they were taken, and it's just a nice little list of breadcrumbs of where you've been.
Okay, and we'll take your questions. Watch for a notification of these questions, and we'll have those on. We'll try and get them on the show for you. So just put them in the comments there. And we do have a couple of things here. Laura Baker says that she has a, let's see if I can get that going.
Hi, Laura.
How was your trip to Spain?
It looked like you had a wonderful time in Spain, yes.
Okay, that's not showing up. Too bad. Let's try that again. No, doesn't show up. Okay, I have a Kindle Fire and an Amazon account, and I recently downloaded the Kindle app on my iPhone 5S, but I can't get the app to sign in to the Kindle for the iOS app, even with the phone signed in to Amazon. Any suggestions?
Even with the phone signed into Amazon. Huh. No. Amazon, did you, I assume you went to your settings on the iPhone and down under your apps and tap on Kindle and see if there's anything there. But if that's where you said you couldn't sign in, reboot.
Yeah, reboot, or maybe uninstall the Kindle app and install it, reinstall it. That's just a thought. Any ideas, Robin?
Well, I'm just, you need to make sure that that you have your Amazon credentials in that iPhone app. And I'm just wondering if there isn't a problem with the password or some such.
Yeah, I have to check that stuff out too. Fred Sowerby says, I'm also a great Google fan with both Apple and Android hardware. I would like to use Google Plus. However, it seems to want to share everything. I'm not that social. Any suggestions for that?
Well, you need to take some time and learn Google Plus. You do not have to share everything all the time, but the default does look that way. There's so much to know about Google Plus. I have recommended a Google Plus courseware that's free online. I forget it right now, but I will put it in the show notes, or I'll respond to that on this page.
Okay. Well, great. That's about all our time today. So
it's a lot more than our time, but that was fun.
Well, thanks a lot, Robin. We really appreciate your time here today and your expertise. It's been a really good show. So
thanks for letting me play with you.
It's always a pleasure to see you. And we will see you next week.
On What Does This Button Do?
What does which button do? Don't do that. Oh, no.